what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I'm saying? As of this recording, it is 9:40 p.m. You know what I mean? January 12th, 2025. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I wanted to make this video. You know, this is the last discussion video of the night. You know, and I like to bring like different different topics and such for you guys to think about, you know, in my point of view, you know. And the one thing that I know a lot of people don't really talk about, or they don't really dive into with certain situations, is like the WWF's New Generation Era, right? Which was from 1993 to 1997. And, you know, this was a time where, you know, everything was down with the WWF, right? It was still popular because this is the time where I actually liked it too. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, it was still a popular era. This is actually post Hulk Hogan era, WWF. You know, because remember, Hulk Hogan's last match for the WWF before he went to WCW was that King of the Ring match in '93 against Yokozuna, where he lost. Where he lost. He lost the WWE Championship, I think, to Yokozuna. Let me drink some water. And, you know, the WWF for so long, right? Mostly Vince relied on Hulk Hogan. You know, he relied on the star power Hulk Hogan, and of course with what happened at that WrestleMania 9, where he had his Money in the Bank, right? Where he that was the first ever Money in the Bank without actually, you know, having Money in the Bank, right? But, you know, excuse me, WWE, like I said, Vince struggled with trying to find, you know, a person to take the company to the next level, right? And he's tried. He tried with many things. He tried with Lex Luger. That could have worked, but, you know, unfortunately it didn't. And which is mind-boggling, because I thought Lex Luger, the Narcissist was a great fucking gimmick. You know what I'm saying? I thought the Narcissist, you know, it was the perfect gimmick for Lex, you know. And then he became the All-American and such. And then, like I said, there was a lot of things that was going on. But there was some positives. You know, a lot of people think about the negatives of the Next Generation Era. And listen, rightfully so. Because there were a lot of fucking negatives. There were a lot. You know, you got people who had fucking, you know, who had over-the-top gimmicks. Like, you had people who had fucking daily occupation gimmicks. You had a fucking hockey player, a garbage man, a fucking plumber, a fucking NASCAR driver, a dentist. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. It was a bunch of bullshit. You know, fucking, you know, a clown. I like Doink. And you know what? Phantasmo, I actually fucked with. You know, I actually fucked with Phantasmo, right? But, I mean, you had a bunch of people that just, oh, man, it was just, you know, a fucking alligator hunter. Like, it was not great. You know, it clearly was not fucking great, you know. But I'm going to tell you about the positive, because there were some positives. You know what I mean? There was a couple of positives. You know what I'm saying? The Next Generation Era actually, you know, it actually created a couple of stars. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You know what I'm saying? Razor Ramon. You know, actually Diesel. You know, it gave Diesel, even though Kevin Nash, you know, did not do well, attendance wise, he didn't draw that much. They still made him into a fucking, you know, into a fucking star. You know, they also had good wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I could always pinpoint back to Bret and Owen at WrestleMania 10. You know what I mean? Shawn and Razor, you know, at, you know, in the ladder match at WrestleMania 10, and, you know, in SummerSlam. You know, so they did have some good matches. You know, they did have some good matches and such, right? Also, you got to think about this too. The King of the Ring, the King of the Ring definitely was something, because the King of the Ring, it made stars like fucking Steve Austin, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, fucking Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Yes, even though it made Diesel, still, they also had a good mid card, and and the Smoking Guns. Look, listen, the Smoking Guns was not a bad tag team. They were not. I actually rocked with the Smoking Guns. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. They did, like I said, they did have some. They did have some success. They also had a strong international presence. They did work with Triple H for a while. But of course that didn't last. And so again, I'm just going through the positives that happened in the in the new generation era, right? And like I said, it did make stars. It definitely made it made some stars that I mentioned. Like I said, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. Oh yeah, I forgot that Shane Douglas was a teacher. Dean Douglas, which I thought could have worked. Which I definitely thought could have fucking worked. I thought, it could have gone somewhere. We also had the casket match. We got the casket match out of there. We got the Boiler Room Brawl out of there. You know what I'm saying? So, there definitely were other positives and such, right? And that, we're talking about the Smoking Guns, right? There were, like I said, there were some people that I actually liked. There were some people that I actually fucked with, in the new generation era. One person to me that was extremely underrated, there were two. There were two wrestlers that were extremely underrated during that time that I actually liked. Adam Bomb was the shit. I thought Adam Bomb was fucking great. I thought that was a great gimmick. That was clearly a fucking great gimmick. I liked Adam Bomb. You know what I mean? I thought Brian Clark was great. I thought Brian Clark was fucking excellent. I'm shocked that WCW didn't do more with him while he was there, but I thought he was fucking great. We also got Hakushi. Remember Hakushi? Which is Jinsei Sasaki? He was great too. You know what I mean? He was really, he was in his bag. You know what I mean? He definitely was. He clearly was in his bag and stuff. And, I liked it. And plus, we also got one In Your House. That's another thing that also came out of the new generation era. In Your House. Like I said, we also got what? The Smoking Guns. Like I said, I like the Smoking Guns. I thought the Smoking Guns was a great tag team. Men on a Mission. I don't know about Men on a Mission. We also got a different version of the Undertaker as well. It was no more of the Mortician Undertaker. He changed his look and everything. But I think, again, the new generation era was at the time a response to, what WCW was doing. But, because WCW was kicking the shit out of the WWF. It was destroying the World Wrestling Federation. But doing stuff with doing shit with, fucking, with occupations and stuff, that was not going to work. That clearly was not going to work. And I'm glad that they eventually saw the light because, doing that was not going to be, that shit was not going to be fun. You know what I mean? Like you could not do some shit like that and think that, this was going to fly in 1995 and 96, especially with what WCW was doing. No, actually, this was before the NWO because a lot of people also seem to forget that WCW was doing shit like that too before Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fucking, the Faces of Fear, the Dungeon of Doom. You know what I'm saying? I could go towards them too, But again, and also I forgot, remember, and again, remember they brought the Warrior back, but this is not about the negatives. This is about the positives, and like I said, there were some positives that did carry on, into the Attitude Era. But again, this shit was not going to work. You know what I'm saying? It clearly was not going to work. Excuse me. Oh yeah, Shinobi, a fucking ninja. But again, this shit was not going to work, and like I said, I'm glad that they moved on from it. But yes, there were some positives in the new generation era. Was it bad like everyone made it out to be? No, absolutely not. It wasn't like the end of the world shit. You know what I mean? It wasn't like fucking WCW 2000. You know what I mean? Like WCW 2000 was worse. It was much worse than that. Much, much worse, in my personal opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and I will catch y'all tomorrow. I hope there's some news tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I think there is news. You know what I mean? So I will definitely holler at y'all.